a very big story, consequential story, and it's unfolding, unraveling in Kerala. Kerala's Sabrimala temple, viewers, is witnessing a heavy rush of pilgrims this year. Over 80,000 devotees visited the temple yesterday, and due to the swelling crowd, devotees were standing in line for 8 to 10 hours. I mean, look at those pictures. You could think that this was cattle being rustled through a narrow gauge turnstile. Now, obviously, viewers, people are losing their patience. Surely, in a hot, humid situation like this, devotees must not be made to feel that they are going to have to, viewers, turn back from a darshan. Unfortunately, many had to. A young girl who was waiting in line, I think she's 8 years old, passed away. Now, many people say that she had a illness from, there are all sorts of versions, but someone has passed away. The High Court stepped in. The Kerala High Court stepped in and pulled up that man's government. He's the Chief Minister of Kerala, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan. And they said, what are you doing? You're not doing a good job of this. You're not giving back to the people. You're not serving them when they're performing this very, very important pilgrimage. Is that right, viewers? Religious freedom is a fundamental right. Obviously, protests have broken out in Sabrimala. And if I just showed you, viewers, a scene at a bus stop, your heart would begin bleeding, because there you could hear little children screaming because they couldn't find their parents, or they were being absolutely mashed up against the metal framework of the bus. It was later reported, viewers, that there were protests happening across this area. Now, this is happening in a state, viewers, and I don't want to make this communal, and I don't want to try to bring in a divisive sort of angle here, but just think about it. There is something called a Hajj committee that is set up by the government to ensure that one denomination's pilgrims get a comfortable ride to their important destination in Mecca, to their spiritual Mecca, so to speak. But here, viewers, and therefore some people are asking, is Hindu Astha second class in the state of Kerala? Just the other day we saw certain worshippers being thrashed by the management board of a particular temple. All sorts of things are happening, viewers. And I want to open this up, and I want to ask some fundamental questions of the left tonight. And I also want to first begin with Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, you have often talked about this absolute travesty where these temples are being controlled by the state, and devotees are being fleeced, etc. Nothing is given back to them quite clearly. Look at this. It's almost as if these people have committed a sin to go to pay obeisance to their deity.
No, they have. They have committed a sin, Rahul, because they are born Hindus. The harrowing sight of Hindu devotees being herded into rickety buses through the windows, that image of a lost child crying out his father's name, the sight of blood dripping from a devotee forehead, this is the enduring image of a Hindu Rashtra, I suppose, Rahul. Had this happened, as you said, to devotees of any other religion, the outrage would have lasted for weeks. The irony of this country is that India has been branded as a fascist Hindu Rashtra. I want to ask all those people who branded it so, what sort of a Hindu Rashtra is this, where the communists are controlling Hindu temples? What sort of a Hindu Rashtra is this, where the people who want to eradicate Sanatan Dharma are controlling the temples of Sanatan Dharma? The communist state of Kerala, Rahul, has 5 Devaswam boards: Travancore, Guruvayur, Cochin, Malabar and Kudal Manikyam. Together they manage 3,058 temples. The communists, for whom religion is supposedly the opium of the masses, are controlling Hindu temples and their boards, appointing board members on their whims and fancies. Many either belong to Communist Party or are card-carrying members of it. Why? What business is it of the state to levy an administrative charge from anywhere between 5% to 21% on Hindu temples in the name of audit? What business is it of the state to dictate how many times a puja is to be conducted and who is to conduct it and who is qualified to be the priest and what is going to be the procedure for worship? What business is it of the state to control tens of thousands of acres of temple land and then set rent for it? The loss of Hindu temples on account of this alone is estimated over decades to be in lakhs of crores. According to T.R. Ramesh, the activist and litigant, the Tamil Nadu government that should be earning a minimum of 6,000 crores per annum from the 2.44 crore square feet of temple land it controls, earns a mere 58 crores, not even 1%. State control, Rahul, of Hindu temples and their property is by far the largest, financially most damaging scam of independent India. Even using the petroleum sector as a cash cow pales in comparison to the loot and pillaging happening of Hindu temples in the name of secularism. But then I ask you, if the Congress can bring in a legislation to control Hindu temples in 1959, one that still stands, why can't the BJP bring in a legislation to override it? Rahul, if you truly believe that religion should keep out a state, the corollary is also equally applicable that the state should keep out a religion, but does it? A Hindu temple, its income, its educational institutions are controlled and interfered by the government, but those of a mosque, a church are not. Why? Only in India can you step aside and watch as the state appoints non-Hindus on boards that control Hindu temples. Only here will we remain silent as temple idols are stolen, temple property auctioned, the whole temple-driven ecosystem way of life dismantled. Assault and Hindu temples are turned into assault on Hinduism itself. As Vikram Sampath said, the day is not far when Hindus will be led quietly to like lambs to their slaughter. But I disagree with him. They are not being led quietly. They are shrieking. They are bleating.
Well, viewers, discriminatory secularism is the affliction that strikes us. And Dr. Ranganathan has written about it in his book. I have written about it in my book, Modi in India 2024 and the Battle for Bharat. Read both our books, you'll get a good perspective on it. I'm unabashedly today peddling our books because, viewers, it gives you a perspective. I want to ask the CPI leader, why are you in the business of managing Hindu religious places, Mr. Varshne? Can I ask you this simple question?
Rahul, first of all, let me say to Mr. Ranganathan that whatever he has said, he should have also seen the Vaishno Devi, he should have also seen the Palaniswami temple, he should have also seen the other temples of the northern India. He should know that even the Tirupati temple have the government of India nominee. Earlier, what is the history? Why you have to see in the history why these boards were brought into these temples, which is very popular in religious sentiment. Because there was a lot of corruption and people were complaining against them for their management corruptions and Pandals and others were.
What is this? What is this, Mr. Varshne? This is moral corruption. This is moral corruption. What you are doing is moral corruption. 1 second, sir.
Rahul,
just give me 1 second. No, 1 second,
Rahul,
sir. I need to draw a line.
First of all, is it fair to interrupt me? Is it fair to interrupt me?
No, it's not at all.
Is it fair to interrupt me? You gave 7 minutes to Mr. Ranganathan.
No, I'll tell you. You made one mistake. He called out.
Please.
He called out. Dr. Ranganathan called out even the centre for not going ahead and making a law that strikes down the 1959 HRNCE Act, viewers. He's been very upfront. I'm asking you to be upfront. You wear the red of communism around your throat. But what comes out of your mouth, sir, is certainly not.
The communist,
hot red
the communist.
Now, I'm asking you tonight.
Please listen.
Why are you doing this?
The communists are also. The communist government is also due to be bound to provide the facilities to the pilgrims and regulate their entry into the temple. Whether it is temple of the Kerala or temple of other anywhere.
Why don't you do it for the?
Secondly,
why don't you do it for other denominations? Why only Hindus?
Are churches and mosques not corrupt, sir?
No.
Why are you not controlling them?
If any and if any mosque are also under the Waqf board for your kind information, and Waqf board are being nominated by the local governments, and Waqf board is nominated by the local government. Always the government send their nominees to the Waqf board.
Sir,
who are you
please,
telling?
what
Why
are you
lying
saying,
in
sir,
front
today?
of the
Why are
nation
you
to
doing
the
this, sir,
CNN?
today? Why are you doing this, sir? Why are you communalizing this?
From where are you
From
learned
the
that
Communist Party? You're not even supposed to think religion. You're not even supposed to
Mosques are also
think
governed by the
in
Waqf
the
board.
business of religion.
What is the Waqf board?
So, what am I supposed
No, no, it is not a business of religion. It is a question of
are making a
providing the
business
facilities
out of someone's
to become
astha.
pilgrimage.
Now, viewers,
It is
look,
providing, it is not a business. Those who say it is a business, it is a BJP line. It is BJP.
so what do you do with that money? What do you do with the money that you collect?
Who are making the corruption.
What do you do
In
with the money
temple
that you
earlier,
collect from Hindu
that is why the
pilgrims?
boards were brought.
Can I ask
And
you?
throughout the board, throughout the what these boards are there in the religious.
So
centers.
just take a
Throughout
sip
the
of
world.
water, sir. We don't want you to lose your voice. Please just take a sip of water. I know it's very, very polluted in Delhi, but I want to ask you a question, Mr. Varshney. One small question. What do you do with the money? Can I ask you? What do you do with that money? Because it's certainly not being spent in creating facilities for these poor, unsuspecting pilgrims.
Okay. We provide them infrastructure, Baba.
I can
for
see that, sir.
facilitation.
They're
If they
standing there with twigs on their head trying to block out the sun.
Then registration has to be done.
This is the
Obviously,
infrastructure,
now
viewers.
this much of people are coming.
You know, that entire, I'll tell you, viewers, that bridge might come down.
Narrow lane.
That bridge might come down. That bridge might come down. This is the infrastructure. They're stuffed there like sardines. I want to bring in Rahul Easwar. Rahul Easwar, you are very closely involved with all of this. What does the state government do with the money? 1 second, Mr. Varshney. Let's get somebody who knows to speak.
First, Rahul Easwar, two submissions. First of all, as a ordinary, proud Hindu believer, my pranam to Anand Ranganathan ji, who I know is a scientist and atheist, for airing the right mind of every devotee. I also thank Rahul Shivashankar for highlighting this issue. There are some structural issues. Please don't skirt those issues. Dinesh ji, with due respect to you, there are some serious flaws. And with due respect to him, let me point out one real instant where Devasam Board, who is taking money from Sabrimala, argued against the very Sabrimala in Supreme Court just 5 years ago. Can you imagine this happening to any place in the world? Devasam Board, controlled by the communist government, appointed the communist Devasam Board chief. They argued against the very temple they are taking money. And people like us, NSS, other Hindu organizations, Sangh, all had to come together and create a legal resistance there. So please remember, there are some structural issues. Please don't be blind to that. Second, India got the freedom, but our temples didn't get the freedom even after independence. If you check the Kerala history, it was nearly in 1812 that the Britishers had the nefarious strategy of controlling Hindu temples. And do you know what is the rationale? They told temples are corrupt, so we have to manage them. This is the same strategy the Britishers used because they want to divide the locals. They want to control the Hindu temples because they didn't want Hindu temples to become consolidation point against the British Empire. So please remember, temples need freedom. I respect our Muslim brothers and Christian brothers. Just like they have the freedom to run their own affairs, please let us have the right to run our own affair. I would be, please forgive me for saying this, 6-7 years back, there was a stampede that nearly killed 106 people called Pullumedu tragedy. God forbid if something happens like that. That's the reason why we have to be very careful. I am not in the position of blame game, but I would humbly request, we need to give more facilities because otherwise Kerala itself is shamed. Nearly 75 to 80% of pilgrims are coming from Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Karnataka, Telangana, the South Indian states and Maharashtra. When they come to Kerala, they see Malayalis or Keralites not giving them enough facilities. And it's a matter of fact that 12 to 15 hours of queue are there. How can we close our eyes? There is lack of scientific crowd management. There is a lack of a person who can
Baba, same queue are there in Tirupati. Same queue are there in Tirupati. Government of India nominee there. Same queue are there.
That's the point. Can I point out? Sir, Tirupati is open 365 days.
There are same queues are there in various other temples.
There are points of nuances and differences. You are forgetting. Tirupati is open 365 days and per day. Tirupati is having 50 to 55,000 people. That is
why there has to be a registration system.
It can range between 75,000 to 1,20,000. There are differences in this. Sabrimala is a season. This is open every day. So government has to be on vigilant.
We have a review meeting today.
Government should allocate more funds.
Okay.
Government should be
I just need to step in here. Gentlemen, first of all, let's not speak over each other. Varshney Saab, please. You already have a bad throat. Just drink a little bit more water. Soothe that throat. I'll come to you. Just hold your horses. Yeah, just have a sip of water. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, you wanted to make a point. Yes.
Yes, no, I was saying a couple of questions to my good friend Dinesh ji. One, he says the reason that he gives for the controlling of Hindu temples by the state is because there was a lot of corruption. By that logic, does it mean to say that there is no corruption when churches and mosques are run and gurdwaras are run? Number two, his equivalence of the Waqf board is so totally misplaced because the government does not charge or take money from the mosques, neither from the Waqf board. It is almost independent. Number three, when he talks about the corruption, when he talks about the bringing in emancipation of women and equivalence and liberty, and that is how the communists supported the Sabrimala judgment of Supreme Court, I want to ask him, is he for the Catholic women being ordained as priests? Is he or is he not?
तीन सवाल पूछे हैं वार्ष्णेय जी आपसे.
We are.
Then what are you doing about it? Have you filed a case?
Why should women be separated?
That Catholic women cannot be
No,
ordained.
why should we file the case? So look, every time the legal case does not help you. You will have to make a social movement for this. You will have to make the movement for this to make the consciousness among the Christian clergy has to realize. Every religious clergy has to realize that women is an equal partner.
Please don't see us as
Equal
soft targets.
partner. Each and
You are
every
seeing
religion,
Hindus
whether
as soft
Islam
targets.
or Persian or Jews or Hindus have kept their women in low esteem.
Okay.
Oh, you must read historical context.
Dinesh ji, please don't see Hindus as a soft target. Every religion has sanctity and we all have the right to run our own religious place as per Article 25 and 26. The whole point is there is a disrespectful attitude towards Hindus from the left liberal spectrum, and in the name of secularism, all others are protected. We are becoming the victims of secularism because we are not allowed to run our temples. We don't have freedom over the temples. We are subjected to continuous litigation. Whereas I am happy for our Muslim and Christian brothers. They are not attacked by
What do you mean by freedom of the temple?
We are single-handedly at the mercy of the government and the left liberals who are continuously
anybody can visit them.
Well, viewers, you see, this is a problem. We're up against really a mindset that militates against just one particular community. And you know what they say, viewers? We have to do it because there's corruption. It's clear that they just don't trust Hindus in isolation. That's pretty much what it is. And why have we subjected ourselves to this? This horrible abomination, this discrimination. I don't know. Why we put up with it, Dr. Ranganathan? Why do we put up with this?
Now, I'll tell you why we put up, and here I disagree with Rahul Easwar, my good friend, is because I don't blame the communists. I don't blame them. Because when they say, when their paradigm is dictatorship of the proletariat, do we allow them to have that dictatorship? No. So I blame the present central government. It is up to them. Communists can say and do whatever they want. Ultimately, the buck stops where? With Mr. Narendra Modi. I'm sorry to say this.
Well, viewers, look, at the end of the day, you have to be alleviated from this. The reasons our temples are so run down is because the devotees give money for the upkeep of those temples in the hope that the lords would be propitiated, but it goes away. It is taken by the state and spent somewhere else. The temple gets nothing. In fact, viewers, as I'm telling you, there is a Hajj committee. Each member of that Hajj committee is paid a salary. Where is that salary coming from? It's coming from your donations. Hindu donations to pay for the salary of a lovely Hajj committee that organizes first class, business class, economy class flights and lovely travel. You know, I don't want to make this about one against the other. I don't. But I'm just saying, viewers, think about it. And when are we going to take a stand? I'll take a short break, viewers. The right stand coming up.